Okay.
So, Fantastic Four First Steps, not exactly putting their best foot forward with their marketing campaign. My jokes. I got dad jokes, guys. I don't even have kids that I know about. Pedro Pascal says he loves being led by powerful women as Sue Storm takes the lead in Marvel's Fantastic Four. That's right, because Sue Storm is the true leader of the Fantastic Four, according to Marvel producer. So, yes. So what was said? Right, well, there's an interview of Collider. And Grant Curtis, one of the producers on board for this film, addressed Marvel's approach to the character this time around, suggesting a dramatic shift from previous iterations. Previous iterations being Jessica Alba, so, a hottie. Although, Vanessa Kirby's hot, but they're not. They're just going to cover her up, aren't they, really? So if you do go back through the comics, this is what the producer said. You realize that Sue Storm is arguably the leader of the Fantastic Four. I mean, she's not. Like, objectively, she's not. Objectively, literally, subjectively, she's not. In every possible metric, she's not. Because without Sue Storm, everything falls apart. Oh, I see what you're doing here. Oh, I see, Hollywood producer. How little narrative do you understand? You mean she's the emotional glue. Right. So that's not the leader of the Fantastic Four. That's the emotional glue. Out of any group, you always have a character that serves as the emotional element that binds everyone together, generally being the port of call for conflict resolution between the group. So you're a retard, Mr. Curtis. You're an idiot, and you shouldn't be producing movies because you don't fundamentally understand narrative structure. You don't understand how characters interact. So what you mean is, again, I repeat, she's just the emotional glue, not the leader, you pleb. We had the desire to date aesthetically, he says, but in terms of character and treatment, who should be front and center, it's like, hey, let's tell the best story possible. Yeah, you probably didn't, did you? To be honest, probably didn't. And then there's some commentary to do with like the male gaze. So Collider was basically quick to blast the previous portrayals, products of a more male-gazing era of filmmaking, direct quote. The outlet criticized the original versions of Sue Storm for lacking depth and positioned the new film as a corrective step towards stronger female representation. So what? Have you watched the last Marvel movies or any film that's come out? What do you mean a step toward stronger female? We've had that. We've had strong female representation. We're good. We're full. That's why the movie industry is dying, because it's predominantly men that go to movies and they're sick of this. You morons. And then Vanessa Kirby was like, "Oh, don't put me in dolly skirts." Why? Why not?
Why not? Why not? Yeah.
What's wrong with dolly skirts? So there's that. And then Pedro Pascal just put the icing on the cake here and says, I love being led in a way. What you may identify as generosity for me, it just isn't. I'm only inspired by, I guess, just powerful women have been the thing that has gotten me through being alive. So to have the opportunity to stand by one, to learn from one, just a partner, it's partnership. It's male and female. It's also just a kind of transcendent sort of partnership in the work and in the characters. And so I don't really know what the F I'm going to do without you, Vanessa, honestly. Just going to say that's a lot of waffle to literally say nothing. Like, he literally said nothing then. Actually nothing. He said a bunch of big words, which you could, a plebeian would probably look at that and go, wow, he really knows what he's talking about. But if you break it down word by word, he's actually said nothing. He's actually said nothing there, remotely. And then Kirby decided to fillet him and says, "I've never had a male actor as a counterpart who's been so utterly equal and supportive of the relationship." Oh God, get a fucking room. But also the female character opposite him. I just feel so grateful every day to have an actor like Pedro who is so generous. Can you be generous to us and spare us this crap? That'd be great. So there you go. I mean, this film was going to bomb. Fantastic flop. Final steps. What do you think, Bo?
Oh, the Pedro Pascal quote is just so soy, isn't it? It's just so weak. What a cuck. What a pathetic bitch. Jesus Christ. Just dial it down, dude. Like, why? The thing is, right, in real life, women usually hate that. Right? If they can step all over you, most women shit test men, right, all the time. And if you fail the shit test, they quite quickly learn to despise you. Right? And put you aside. Right? Most women, in my experience, the vast majority of women actually want you to be the lead in life, in a relationship, in whatever, to actually take on the role of the alpha. It's just like if you're dealing with, it's a bit of an out of order comparison. If you're dealing with a horse or an aggressive dog, you've got to project that you're the alpha in the room, right? And if you don't, you lose. You lose. You have lost. So to say all this bullshit, oh, I just love being led by a strong woman. Do you? Do you really? What if you do? More for you. And if you don't, you're just saying that because you think it's what people want to hear. Then that's one of the most pathetic things ever. That's my take on it.
Well, I mean, casting directors probably want to hear that mule-ish approach to thing. Right.
Producers and the execs at the studio and casting people will all be Karens, so he's got to say it.
Yeah, but when I see Pedro Pascal doing this, it's nothing but a Hollywood thing, because everybody outside the world, in the real world, understands that no woman wants a weakling. They don't want a cuck. They don't want a pansy. I would use a different word, but I'm going to be kind. I'm not a fan of this kind of thought process, and ladies aren't either. You hit the nail on the head. Women are looking for the boundaries. That's why you get a shit test. That's why you'll get multiple shit tests early in a relationship. If you fail those shit tests and she knows she can walk all over you, she's gonna. It also means she's going to leave you eventually, right? It's not going to be a faithful relationship. She's not going to respect you, because it all comes down to respect. Are you the leader of this household or not? Are you to be respected or just ignored? And again, if a woman comes at you with that kind of an attitude, with that kind of masculinity, you need to either shut it down and be prepared to let her walk out the door, or you need to leave. Those are your choices. Otherwise, you're going to have a miserable life. That's pretty much all there is to it. And for what it's worth, I call my partner the boss. Okay. And there's a reason for that. Because I respect her, but she respects me more. Nothing happens in this household without me and my say so. And that's ultimately kind of the way things are supposed to work. She's got, when she's in the household, she's got complete control of the household, because I can't bother myself with it. The only things I bother myself with are the maintenance items and the things that need to be done to, keep the building from falling down. Right. But when it comes to like making sure, taxes, insurance, all that other stuff, all that stuff falls on me. Right. But the household falls to the woman. And maybe you don't like those roles, and maybe you take on all those roles as a single person because you have to. By the way, if you don't think men can run a household, how are there so many single men doing just fine? But, set all that aside, you're more successful as a team together, both leaning on each other's strengths. And this is the exact opposite of that. Disney is the personification of the destruction of Western civilization and society, because this team, when it worked in the comic books that they laugh at, by the way, which I think is later in this story,
It's not boring,
but they laugh at the original characterizations of these characters, something that had worked for tens of thousands of years. They laugh at that, and having a good strong family, you know, a 2-parent household kind of a concept, you know. I have to tell you, this may be the one that breaks the back of Marvel, and it deserves to be fair. The reason that I've been calling it Final Steps, this particular film, is for this very reason, because everything is centered around the female protagonist and antagonist and their team up that's inevitably going to come. And, you know, they did substantial changes to the third act here just 3 weeks ago at this point. They know this thing is dog duty. And I think they know that this is going to follow in the foots of the Thunderbolts, which have actually fallen behind Eternals in the amount of pathetic that it is. And I think that this is going to be something that will drive more people away from the MCU and lead Doomsday probably into the lack of nobody's interested anymore. Can you imagine making 3 films at $1.2 billion in total for 3 of them, and nobody goes to see them?
It's more than why. That seems to just be the trend in general, to be honest. No one saw Captain America: Brave New World either, so it's that Thunderbolts, then this, and yeah, it's all sort of going downhill, isn't it? It's quite comical. Stephen McBride says Pascal definitely prefers the bottom. I can tell. What I say about you, Stephen, mate? No, I'm kidding. That's funny. Yeah, no, probably. Well, there you go. Anyway, let's shuffle on from that.